Alright, this is a 2014 Jaguar, and the model is, let's see, what is this thing? This is the F-Type. F-Type, and it's supposed to be an S, but it doesn't seem to have the S brakes because they were smaller. We got the first pads didn't fit, they were too big, and went down and got the base model, and these seem to be the right ones. So I'm not sure why it doesn't have the S disc brakes on it. First thing you want to do is remove that spring clamp. It's pretty beefy. There's a little trick to it. You could probably get it off somehow with a couple screwdrivers, but I'll show you a quicker way maybe. Get in on the end here, this part here, and push it down that way, which keeps it from locking in behind it. So push that down, get in here with another screwdriver, pull it that way as much as you can. So now this is out of the lock, it's not locked in anymore. And then come over here, keep a screwdriver there, get under this part here, and together you can pop it out of there. It's going to come flying off, probably, like that. See what it is? Just the spring with a Jaguar plastic. Maybe it's metal. I'm not sure. But it takes a lot of force to push this down. I'll show you how to get that on. Fairly easy when you're finished. And now the next thing you want to do is go behind it. Back side here, there's two places. About right here, and right here on the back side, they've got a black plastic disc. You'll see it. It's kind of flush, but you can still grab it and pull it off pretty easily. So pull both of those off, and then you need to get a 9mm hex drive like this, and you probably want to get a little wobble extension on it, because they put one on the top part. They put the brake line in a real bad spot. It's hard to get to it. I had to loosen the other one, crack a little bit, and just loosen it, just turn it a little bit so I could even get in there with this thing. The bottom one's not a problem. So anyways, you get in there, take out those, these are two pins, and once you get those pins out, I'll show you what to do after that, but I have to get the pins out first, and then I'll come back. Okay, right here, these are the plugs. Plastic plugs that are in the back, there's two of them. Of course, the problem is you can't see back there. You can't barely get your head back. It's kind of hard. It's a hard car to jack up to. But once you pop these off, all that's sticking out here is just this end piece there, like 1/16 of an inch. That's all you'll see. And this part here goes into another rubber sleeve, like a little piece just made just for this. And then it comes out. It's real easy with your fingers. And these are the pins that hold in the caliper. There are some bigger bolts back there. I think they're T50s on a Torx type bit. I think there's 3 or 4 of them, but you don't need to take those off. That's just if you have to get the rotor off, so you have to take off the mounting bracket that's attached to the frame. But on these pins, what I do is put them on the wire wheel, or even some acetone, and get all this crap off of there, because they don't want to turn very easily in that rubber boot. They kind of bind up. And in order to get these out, you can see it's down inside where the 14 hex drive is. The top part's just a thin cylinder wall. And just get a pair of vice grips, small vice grips or something, needle nose, where you can get in there. These things, you can see they don't screw in that far. But even though they're unscrewed all the way, they're still going to be down inside. You can't get to them to pull them out. So what I do on the top one, I can get in there with a screwdriver. I can see it a little bit in one part of it, and I can push it back. Or you can just keep unscrewing it, and because the rubber part is binding enough, it might pull it out enough where you can get to it. The way you can get in there with these, and then you can grab it, like this, pull it out the rest of the way. So once you get those pins out, what you have to do is you have to compress that piston that's back in there, because otherwise, see, this is the bracket that holds it on, and that bracket hits right up against the caliper. I don't know why this is part of the caliper. It's kind of strange. But it's not going to go anywhere until you compress this and pull this whole thing this way. So what you can do is get in there with a screwdriver, get behind it also with your hand, or you can even get a clamp on here and clamp it from there. In fact, let me try that. I think that might work better, be easier. That's how I get that spring back on that goes in here. I use a clamp. So what you need to do is clamp this part here, and the back of the caliper. This should compress it, except it's coming off the back because it's curved a little bit. Yeah, this is working. So you can see it as soon as this part, this is the bracket. As soon as the bracket has cleared the caliper, you can see when there's enough room to slide it over. Can't see it on that view, but you'll see it if you're doing this. So that's enough. You can see I have a lot more play in it now. And then what you have to do is line this up to the right spot, because it has to go out parallel. You can see how it's set up there. You can even try with a little bit of hammer, maybe. And see there, it just came right off. But you also want to have a wire ready, which I forgot to get. It's behind me, so you can support this thing. This will be alright for now, but you don't want to drop this with all the weight, because you could damage that cable or the wire. So I did have one ready, but it just wasn't, I could get to it. So make sure you wrap this so it's not going to come undone on you. And then take the top part and wrap it up to the something solid up there. Okay, I had it, so it didn't go anywhere. It didn't do any damage. It did go somewhere, but okay, that's all tied up, secured. It's not going to go anywhere. And the other side has a sensor on it. There's only one sensor in the front, which is on the left side, one sensor in the back. They're not on all four wheels. And I think you have to get a new sensor each time because it breaks. It actually breaks. You can see the pad fits inside there like that. Now this sensor broke, and you can see the thickness on the pad. The inside pad is a little bit thicker than the outside one. So you know when the sensor goes off, you got maybe a week or two, probably, normal driving, to get it fixed. Yeah, here's what a normal pad looks like. Okay, that's pretty much it, because the rest of it is just easy peasy. If you're doing brakes, you're going to know how to do that for sure. And I'll come back when I'm putting the spring clamp on. That should be it. You might ask yourself the question, you have these brake sensors in the front and the back. If one of them comes up, I don't think it tells you which one it is. So, which one are you going to suspect? I was reading the forums, and one of the guys made the comment that on the Jaguar, it's going to be on the back. It's going to be the first. But you know, I've never found that to be true on any car I've ever worked on. It's always the front, because the fronts take the brunt of the braking. And it turned out to be true on this car. These are the front pads that are worn down the most. The rears are worn, but they're still okay. So if you're wondering about which one to check, I would check the fronts first, because it's most likely going to be where the problem is when your first sensor comes on. Alright, now to put these pins back in, put some brake grease on the pin itself, and the threads I spray with some WD-40, just a real thin coat, help them thread in better to keep them from cross-threading. Because you can't get a feel for it, you just have to push it in and line it up, because you can't really see what's going on. And then take the ratchet in there, because you can't turn these things by hand. It's too much friction on it. So the chances of cross-threading them are good if you don't get it lined up, get it lubricated. I put one in already, didn't have a problem with it. So, and let's see, as far as pushing that brake piston back, what I do is I just use this same clamp. This is just a 12-inch Harbor Freight clamp. It costs like $3, $4, something like that. And then I just use a block of wood, put it up against the piston, you know, and this is like that on the back part. plenty of room to do this. And get this down all the way. Collapse that piston on these particular brakes. You've got this piece here which is held in by these clips, so you don't need the block of wood. You just pop this in and use this as the piece of wood. Put the clamp right up against it, and then around the back side of the caliper, compress it to where this goes right up against the caliper housing, because it does take the full amount to get these on. I did it the first time, not quite enough, had to take it off and put it down all the way, and that went on real easily. So that's all I have to do, and I'll get back and put in that spring clamp when I get those pins in. Alright, here's a way to get this, where is it there? Can't see it. It's dark out here. This clip, spring clip back in there. What I do is insert this end right here underneath. But still keep this pretty much in line there. Try to knock that back under the screwdriver. Back, like that. Clamp it off. Get it so it's down at the bottom there where it has support. Tight too. It'll slip out. They slip out anyways. And then what I do is come over here to this side, take a screwdriver down, back this way. Take these vice grips, pinch it off. Work it in that way. But you gotta get this part here down under that. It's kind of tough. Anyways, this is how I do it. I just work it. Sometimes it goes in quicker, but I'm not going to bore you on the camera with it. You can figure it out your own way. Maybe something works better for you. So here we have the new sensor cable and sensor. This is what the end looks like right here. and this just slips in this hole right there. Goes in just like that, locks in when you slide it in, and then this tab right here is what gets damaged when this thing wears against the rotor. This is an old pad, so this is worn way down, but this thing would remain stationary and the pad would be way out here, like ½ inch or so, so this wouldn't get touched. But eventually when this gets way down, this is going to get knocked off, and then that's how you know that your brakes need to be replaced, your brake pads.